Alright, so I took a quick glance at the code to see what I wanted to change. And really, the only thing I want to change is that function call. Canvas adapter, rectangle package. Some rectangles. Maybe make some comments. Wrapping has pixel setting and getting just making some comments. Other part I think I want to do is we might want to rearrange what order this is seen in, so that the most important stuff is seen first. So what we can do, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna just say set up problem space, and then down here I'm just gonna say function set up problem space, right? And I'll just paste all that there. And is this going to create problems for us? Canvas adapter. So the rec pack. Yeah, that does kind of create I'm trying to because we're gonna need those variables. We could is it worth it? Is it worth it refactoring the way I'm gonna do it? Well, you just need to get the canvas. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Okay, since I'm thinking too much about this, I'm gonna so sometimes when you try to like refactor and break things up into smaller chunks, you can you increase the surface area of the code without adding any extra utility and just make more indirection, and that can make things harder to understand. So I don't think I'm going to do that. What I am going to do though is like maybe just make some like obnoxious kind of like notice me kind of thing going on here, Then we'll just do something like this. Sample all pixels, and we'll say map VP2 viewport 2 rec VP2 onto viewport port 0, 0, rec VP 0, 0. Okay, yeah, we'll just say that. That looks good. I'm gonna just have a quick sanity check here, make sure I don't break anything while I was, you know, changing my mind. Okay, so yeah, we're still good. So that's fine. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. We'll remove some of this extra space. Do mapping. I actually like that. That has some extra indentation. Okay, so now let's address this piece of crap right here. First things first, RGB. We're just gonna and get pix RGB, and RGB is defined up here. Put pix. So let's go over to put pix. Okay, so it's taking RGBA, and what I'm saying is instead of RGBA, it just takes this RGB struct thing, and that's like an array. And then instead of RGB like that, we're just gonna do like we're just gonna call it in RGB, and then like that. Well, I guess technically it's not. Yeah, so we'll do this, and then you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this RGB like that, and then oh, and I kind of have that comment as well. Okay, you know what? We'll do this RGBA like that. Okay, we'll do it like that, and then we'll take this and I'll paste that there. So that's just so when I double click RGB here, I can notice it that it's an input here and an input here. You know what I mean? And does that look good? Does that look correct? Yeah, that looks about right. So if I correctly did that, is that really gonna work? Okay, you know what? There were a lot of places where I used this. I didn't just use it in one place. I used it like all over the place, didn't I? So we better check out, you know, where those other places are, or else we're gonna be hurting, aren't we? Yeah, we're definitely going to be hurting. So there's the constructor, which has a put pix, and we do that. So you know what? I'm going to change this to a. I'm going to be lazy. Am I going to be lazy? If we now let's not be lazy and let's not do that. Okay, so var RGB equals, and then you know 1 2 3 4 whatever, right? And RGB, and then outside of this we're just going to say RGB, but that's really. We'll just take this. So this is tedious and annoying, but I think it's for the best. So I'm just yeah. And then you know we don't really need to take up any extra space anymore because you know we just don't, right? We can do it this way now. Okay, and we'll put our semicolons, give some space there, and 1 2 3. Okay, so that looks about right for the put pix there. Let's keep on looking throughout our code because I know I've used it in multiple places. Okay, so here's the next spot. So we got our R, G, and B. And okay, so what we can do here is we're just going to call this RGB. And really, I don't want to declare it here. I want to take it outside of the loop. And then instead of RGB like this, right, we're going to do RGB, right, 0, 1, 2, and then it's the last one is 255. So RGB 3, and that equals 255. 5, and we can make a note, full opacity. Okay, and then we can take this. We can do RGB like that. We can compress this line a little bit. Okay, that looks good. And we're just going to keep on doing this, and we might break something when we're doing this, but at least we'll know, have an idea of, what broke it, right? So put picks, 128, 128, 128. So we'll just go over here, we'll make a variable called var RGB again, and we'll set it to 128, 128, 128, and 255. And then we can just erase this. We can put an RGB like that. And we can, once again, we can condense this, right? All right, and let's go Control F. And actually, before we do that, I don't like this extra space, and I don't like what's that about? And let's get rid of that. Okay, let's actually let's get rid of that too. Okay. Get rid of the log. Yeah, get rid of that log. Have some space between there like that. Okay. And let's go on. Control F. Put pics. Okay, that looks good. Okay, we're back at there. Okay, there's the function. So I'm doing this scrolling like this because you can't see all of my monitor, so I'm trying to keep everything that I'm looking at on the screen for you. So because right now I can see what I'm looking at, but it's like off screen right now, so I gotta like keep on doing. That's kind of annoying, but whatever. Yeah. Okay, so I think everything. Okay, so I'm looking at everything, and it looks good. It looks like I've changed all of the call sites. So now we'll go over to here and hope that we didn't break anything. All right, so it still works. Awesome. Okay, one last thing. This diagram, we want to take it. Want to take this code and we want to like put it at the top somewhere, because it's kind of like there's a lot of stuff here, but we want to try to get the most important stuff kind of like near the top, right? So that when someone's looking at the code, they can kind of see the most relevant parts first. So let's take that. Okay, that looks fine like that. What else do you want to say? Okay, so I'm gonna go up here and make some notes. So 0 is the viewport. We map the other viewport. Oh, sorry, you can't. I am just horrible at this. Okay, so I'm looking at this diagram. and I have brought up this function that creates those different rectangles of different sizes. I've brought it all the way up to the top. I've moved it to the top because I think the first thing I want you to see is this nice little diagram and the rectangles that are kind of like the feature of the problem that we're looking at. So we got that, and we're just going to make some comments about what this 0 and what these numbers here are in brackets really quick. So we got the 0, 1, 2, and 3 like that, right? Yeah. And and it's like that. Okay. The viewport, we map the other the target rectangle slash viewport, and what do you want to call this? Smaller rectangle to map onto 0. Smaller rectangle to map onto 0. And then we have a larger rectangle to map onto 0. See, and then we'll say see function for rectangle mapping logic. Okay, it's just like, you know, these nice little comments to where when somebody opens this up, they kind of like see the most important parts first, right? So obviously these colors aren't going to show up for anybody else. This is kind of for me, right? So let's say, let's change the language right now. So I guess since this is JavaScript, let's just use some JavaScript syntax highlighting. So this is what people are going to see, right? So actually, that doesn't look quite right. I may have changed my JavaScript settings to just not use any coloring at all. Don't judge. Okay. I'd say that looks good. Let's make sure we didn't break anything. Okay, and we didn't break anything. So I want to go find the posts on Stack Overflow. So I think I want to post my answer here. I don't know if I should, right? Because it's like, this is mathematics. This isn't, this is definitely the problem though. And I do feel like, okay, I've spent like hours, you know, recording this video and writing code. So I feel like this does add something because it's kind of like an interactive JavaScript sample that anyone can run. And a lot of mathematicians know some programming. So I might want to post my answer here. But there was another place. Stack Overflow. I'm just gonna do a little search in my shortcuts. So let me so the right monitor. Okay, so I can see in my shortcuts hold on, that I have a shortcut for the questions here and here. One is Stack Exchange, the math stuff, math.stackexchange, and the other one's Stack Overflow. So I'm going to take the Stack Overflow question, copy it, and we're going to go back to the browser. And I'm not going to close that tab because I think that was, you know, possibly... Okay, so this was asked 7 years ago, active 2 years and 9 months ago. So here I am, answering just a ridiculously old question, and do I have anything new to add? So affine transformation, which maps the coordinates from one rectangle to another. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm mapping one rectangle onto another. The rectangles can be absolutely different. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, okay, so they're doing this in. I'm assuming that this looks like Java, not JavaScript. It looks like Java. Now is it tagged as Java? Like, am I gonna get in trouble for posting JavaScript? Well, technically, the question doesn't say. I mean, specifically, he asks for, let's see. New affine transform. New affine transform. T dot transform. T dot. Oh, so affine transform is actually a. Is that like an actual like Java object? I mean, Java has a lot of stuff, but okay, so I'm gonna go. So there's the potential that this is Java, and my answer might not be appreciated. But so let's first of all, I just want to do a little bit of research on affine transform. Okay, so there is some type of Java object called the affine transform. Okay, so now that I know that, I know that using JavaScript instead of Java might not be appreciated. Okay, so I don't see the tag for Java, but now that I'm looking at the actual tab, I see that it says Java. Is it listed anywhere else except for the tab? You think I would know Stack Overflow by now? I mean, I don't have a great reputation, but 2000, it's not a complete beginner reputation. But then you got these other people with like 10K. Maybe once I'm old. Okay, so I'm just gonna, map one rectangle onto another. I'm just gonna type that in and see how to print shapes onto a larger shape using loops. 0 votes. C program. So it's a C program. I don't know. The thing is, if they're asking for help in C, then they might just need the math help. I don't know. Let's plotting a location onto an irregular rectangle, quadrilateral. So I'm gonna guess that has some bent sides. I could actually answer that eventually. I'm gonna take a look at that because. Can you okay, so we got, yeah, that's what I assumed. New edit, new solution for the you got some equations, blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, I could probably answer this later. I mean, obviously has some answers, but I could, so over in my shortcuts, I'm gonna just make a note here. I'm gonna say rect map question 03. I'm gonna paste that there. And actually, I'm gonna get rid of the junk on the end of that. Shift end. Then I'll just, in a comment, I will paste the whole URL. Okay, So going back to the browser, I think I could answer that, but it's not. It's an irregular rectangle, so it's not. My code doesn't cover that. So let's texture bleeding when using draw image. How to find the same value rectangle given a size, the matrix. To understand what texture blitter is in Haskell. How can I vectorize this NumPy composite? So it does seem like the best fit for my answer is the Java question. Now, I could just like make a question and I could just make my own question and answer it, I guess. I think that's frowned upon. I'm not sure. I'll be back. I'm gonna think about it.